Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel today. Sorry for my absence. I will get into why at the end of this video. But today we're going to take our Stug and we're going to finalize it. So we're going to weather it and we're going to also add some streaking and maybe some rust. First things first, we're going to start off with the exhaust because it's, in my opinion, one of the most appealing parts of any tank that you do, no matter the camo scheme. And we're going to paint this in gray. And the reason why we're going to put this in gray is because that steel texture, it's a nice base for our rusty tones. The rust tones that we're going to use latch on very, very well to this gray. And you can hand brush this. I always hand brush this because it does add a little bit of texture, I feel like. But I mean, if it's easier for you to airbrush it, then I'm pretty sure your results will come out perfectly fine as well. So these are just some of the rusting colors that we're going to use. So we're going to use our very vibrant rust. As you can tell, we went ahead and we used our streaking rust for the corners because we're going to make those very, very dark, and we just used our regular rust tones for the rest of the tank. Now if you notice, there is some white on there. I did just use some Tamiya white with the sponge chipping method and put it on there. It does add some variation of color once the rust wash dries. So you'll see it when I show you the final shots, how the different variation of color tones affect the rust in different ways. And you're just going to make sure you want to do it for this other side as well. It would kind of look weird if one side of the exhaust was rusted and the other side was not, like some type of replacement part. If you always add too much, you can always just go ahead and use either enamel thinner or odorless white spirit, and it will be able to take some of that away. We'll show you the exhaust later on. But today, well, right now, we're going to get into some streaking. So we use this wash for Panzer Blue because it is a little green, and usually with winter grime colors, for some reason they did have like green streaks over the paint. So this is very simple process. You just add where you want to add a streak, and then you go with some odorless white spirits, or you could go for some enamels, and you pretty much just, well, streak the enamel paint that you have, as shown right here. You don't want to add too much because it can wipe it off completely, but you do kind of want to just achieve this nice streaky tone. This could be grime, it could be a mixture of things, it could be dirt, maybe oil. It just adds something extra to the model that wasn't there before. And weathering is always pretty good because you can kind of never really go overboard with weathering, but you can manage to make your tank look too clean, and that doesn't look realistic unless it's in a museum and it's very well maintained. For this one, I kind of went with a well maintained, so there's not going to be a lot of rust tones. However, the paint is chipped, obviously, but I did want to go for a well maintained tank, maybe one that hasn't really seen a whole lot of battle. But yeah, regardless, it will be weathered because it does get exposed to the elements. Flip it around, and I'll show you the final of what it's going to look like once you've done weathering it. So now we're going to use this textured earth from Wilder. I know we usually use our ammo MIG dirt, but for this one, I kind of didn't want to really color it. I just wanted it to be the color I laid it down with not much mud. This is my absolute favorite mud acrylic texture. However, it's very unfortunate because Wilder is no longer in business, or if you do find a jar, it may not be in the color that you want it in, and that is very unfortunate. they make this amazing textured paste. It doesn't streak, it doesn't create weird tide marks. It has very heavy sediment, so it's a little bit more pronounced than our ammo, and the ammo one looks kind of like a plaster, whereas this one actually looks like mud, if that makes sense. It may look a little light brown at the moment, but when it dries, it will dry to a nice dark texture, which is what we want. We also didn't want to go overboard with the weathering. Something cool about this acrylic mud is that it's so much easier, for some reason, I don't know why, but it's so much easier to blend this with water even after it's dry, which is as I achieved those streaks there, and obviously with some of our mud tones, as you've seen on this channel many times, you always want to speckle as well, because speckling adds just a little bit more depth and it makes it a little bit more interesting to look at. And you want to make sure that you streak these as well. It is okay to have some spots, but streaking it always makes it look really that much better. And just some more detailed shots of what we have going on the lower hull. Anyway guys, that's really all the time I have for you today. You can check out some more weathering that I did here on the drive sprocket. But about my absence, so I undertook a project that I thought I was going to be able to handle pretty quickly, and those are the gratuitous rush shots that I was talking about. Those are amazing. Might be my best rusty work, and some more of the grind. Oh yes, but I undertook a project that I thought I was going to be able to finish in a fairly short amount of time, and it didn't really work out that way. Plus, I wasn't really able to film it, so it did set me back quite a bit, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if there's going to be a video out next week. However, I am underway with another tank, so that why it can be posted on the channel soon. As per that project, a little bit of a secret because I did want to debut it on the channel, but it just didn't really work out that way. So next time, for sure, I think I'll have a better handle on said project. But for the time being, just check out some of these nice little model pictures or shots of this weathered tank. Really happy with the way that this came out. I thought that the winter camo was going to be a little bit more of a hassle than it was. Thankfully, it turned out really well. As for the muddy texture, the muddy paste, I'm also very happy with that, because it's just not too much. Again, I was going for a little bit of a well-maintained tank. So this is one of the better pieces of my collection, I believe, and as my channel grows, I believe that my skills may be growing as well. So I have you all to thank for that. Thank you for tuning in. As always, leave a comment on what you think about this model tank. If you have any questions, you can leave them there too. I'll see you guys, if not next week, then the week after. Alright, bye bye.